Good evening, everyone. Believe it or not, we are now at week 5, and week 5 of Social Work 541 is on community practice skills. So, as always, in our learning resources, we have our objectives for the week, and those objectives are to develop and apply micro practice social work skills necessary for community practice, to describe the importance of cultural competence and work with communities, to develop and apply group social work skills necessary for community practice, and to examine the importance of leadership in community practice. There are 5 required readings from the University of Kansas Toolbox, chapters 13, 14, 20, 27, 28, and 41, and additional supplemental readings. There are 2 videos, one that is on the interrupters in Chicago featuring Amina, but other persons who are dealing with ending the violent situation in Chicago. This film is a couple of years old, so you might want to look up to see what is happening with the interrupters as funding for their program has been severely decreased. And also a film around Cesar Chavez, The Fight in the Fields. For a while, this link did not work, but it is now working, so you're able to access that film. There is, again, an overview for the week. So this overview looks at community practice skills. These are the objectives, which we have just gone over. The goals of individual work at various times could be individual change, organizational change, community change, or political or governmental change, in addition to cultural change. Community organizers play many roles, so you could be teacher, catalyst, facilitator, or broker, advocate, researcher, counselor, and so many more roles. In terms of skills to work in communities as an organizer, interpersonal skills are the basis, because if you can work effectively with relationship building on an individual level and a small group level, then you apply those same skills to working with larger communities. Organizing, having administrative and supervisory skills, understanding planning and program development, being able to assess organizations in communities, research and evaluation, and policy development are all organizing skills. So interpersonal skills, as I've said before, you have to be able to build relationships. And communities are made up of individuals and families. So trust is a key component, but also cultural sensitivity. Culture in the broadest sense of the word, being able to work with people who may not be the same as you, be it race or age or gender or social class or a number of aspects. We need to be able to work with people in communities and be sensitive to the culture and the values that each community brings. Honesty, cultural sensitivity, and of course, respect. Without respect, there is no relationship. So we show respect by sharing, asking for permission, getting involved at the community level, contributing to, but understanding it's not about us, so we don't dominate. Be open and honest, not to interrupt, and give accomplishments or recognize accomplishments, give compliments, and give credit for those accomplishments. Honesty. always, if you say that you're going to do something, do it. Don't promise more than you can deliver. Honesty shows that you give respect and you are open. Openness and transparency are very critical. Group work skills on the small group level, work on the large group level. You have to be able to make decisions, work with people around decision making. Coming to consensus means that it's not my way or the highway, but majority rules. Consensus means that everybody's voice is heard. We may not all get what we want, but we're able to come to some agreement. Democracy does mean voting, but again, understanding that there is no winners or losers. Community organizers are motivational persons. They are able to cope, definitely able to manage conflict, because conflict will always occur, but you don't take things personally. You listen, you let people have their voice, even when their voices get very loud. You don't take it personally because generally it's not aimed at you, it's the situation that people find themselves in. And to also have what we call emotional competence, to be able to read people. So some additional skills, and there's a long skill set. Organization seen as client, to be able to do budgeting and financial management, working with a board of directors, developing resources. You have to do this on an individual level when you work with clients, so it's the same as working in community. Being able to evaluate programs, look at organizational design, development, assessment, and diagnosis, computer information systems and technology, skills around leadership and working with personnel, networking, working with the media, being able to communicate using social media, and also being able to do outreach to implementation and evaluation. Fundraising, coalition building, planning change, organizing, task force development and membership development, economic development, working with the legislature and being able to lobby your local and state and federal public officials. Being able to understand policy, because policy drives practice, looking at issues, looking at research, and understanding when legal action may need to be taken. There are two discussions this week. The first is what makes a good community leader. So after you've looked at one of the two films, pick which one, but please make sure in your post to note the film that you have chosen. You are going to talk about no less than 5 characteristics of the activists in the film. So for your list, don't just name the characteristics, provide examples and descriptions of each characteristic. When did you see them display that characteristic? How did you see them display the characteristic? And then why are these characteristics important? And what made the skills that they use more important than others? And make sure, again, that you include the name of the video and then respond to the post of 2 of your classmates. This is due on Thursday, and follow-up resources are due between Friday and Sunday. And you see the parameters about what makes a sufficient post. The second discussion is to choose a theoretical model for community intervention. This is meant to get you thinking about that assignment 3, community needs and services plans, which is due Sunday, week 6. So you're going to look at the course readings from last week, week 4. as well as the important characteristics of community practice models that you came up with in the week 4 discussion. And then I identify and describe the theoretical model that you would use in an intervention plan for the community you are using in your community needs and services assessment assignments. This can be one of the theoretical models identified in the course readings for week 4, or your own idea for a theoretical model built upon important characteristics that you've already identified. If you create your own theoretical model, remember that it must be related to community practice. Describe your rationale for choosing this theoretical model. What are the strengths and what are the limitations of using this model in your community? And although you can talk to your diet partner about this, each of you must post your own theoretical model, and this needs to be different from that of your partner. And again, respond to your 2 classmates. Your initial post is due by Thursday, and then your follow-up is due between Friday and Monday. So don't forget that this is the basis for your next written assignment, which is due, I believe, again, week 6. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Get in touch with me by email as quickly as possible, and I will be able to respond to your questions, I hope. And I look forward to reading your discussion posts for the week. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know and I will get back to you. Thank you.